Oh. Woohoo! New show, who dis?
Somewhere unseen. It got a little longer, so it seems.
Welcome to the Luke Kidgell Hour. Don't start the timer yet, Rhys, because we only start the timer once we've hit the official buzzer. Now, the buzzer is still coming in the mail. We don't have a buzzer yet, but we do have a buzzer sound effect. So, Rhys, are you ready to start the Luke Kidgell Hour?
Yes, let's go.
Brand new show. Let's get it right. 3, 2, 1. We're off, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the new show. And it's exactly what it is. If you're new, welcome. Great time to start because we've just rebranded. Not a lot's changed. I just got rid of the sign behind me. Robot Rhys is here, my resident Android producer. Rhys is going to be here. He's got a few jobs. He's going to be the official timekeeper of the podcast from now on. And if you can't figure out how long it goes for, then you're not welcome here. Yeah, what did you say?
We're screwed.
Yeah, we're screwed. Yeah. But you know what? I've read some of the comments during the week, and I think we're fucking screwed anyway. Some of you will be like, so wait, how long is this going to go for? The amount of dumb shit that we get in our inbox at lukekidgellpodcast@gmail.com makes me concerned for human evolution as a whole. But yeah, so what the show is going to be, it's in the title. It's going to be 1 hour of Luke Kidgell. No more, no less. Just me. And Rhys is obviously here keeping time and also reading your emails and just in general, I don't know, hopefully not malfunctioning in the corner. If you don't know why Rhys is a robot, it's because he never pisses. I've never seen him piss. I'm convinced.
Lies.
Well, I've never seen you piss. I've seen you walk into the toilet and change your oil, but I've never seen you. And I only think he does that because they've recently programmed him to try and, you know, what's the right word? Live amongst the humans, like acclimatized? No. Fit in? What's another word for fit in? What's the intelligent word for fit in?
I would have just gone with fit in.
Yeah, fuck. So I haven't got anyone. You'd think if you're a robot, you could be like, beep, boop, beep, boop. It's, you know, damn, 1 point to being a human. Doesn't have a thesaurus in his head. I can't even fucking say that word. But this is the first time I've ever done a solo podcast with someone else in the room. It feels good. It's usually pretty lonely. Usually it's like me and the camera. So you might see me occasionally glance across to Rhys, look in his soulless eyes, and then look back at you guys. If you're an audio listener, things probably won't change other than the quality of the show is just going to be better. What I wanted to start with was the reaction to the change. So last week was the final ever episode of Memoirs of a White Guy, and what a chapter that was. And I asked you guys to send in some predictions of what the change would be. No, because I just said there'd be a massive bombshell. This was like pre the episode. I was like, there's going to be a huge bombshell. And what I was announcing was this, the Luke Kidgell Hour. But no one predicted that. No one predicted a rebranding episode 1 of the year, or me quitting. Fair enough. You know, it's weird to quit episode 1 of the year. People thought I was going to get engaged, or I was engaged. People thought I was announcing the engagement. Pump your brakes. I'm 24 and, you know, Jesus Christ. A few people thought I was pregnant, which is awesome. And hang on, I've got them up here. You guys were just so far off. A lot of people thought I got new shoes, which would have been wild because I just got new shoes and they're getting newer by the day. They're not even close to heritage listed like my Vans. My Adidas kicks are fucking fresh still. They're still warm off the press. Here's was Charlie thought Jamie from The Bachelorette was going to be a guest on the show. I wish. God damn. Actually, I don't wish. Actually, that man scares me a little bit. Good on him, though. Someone said, you have proof Rhys is a robot. That was from Dead Inside. Oh, that was the dude that spammed the fuck out of the post. One guy last week reacted to this change so poorly. And I was saying this last week. I get it, guys. I'm white too. I hate change. I have Wheat Bix for breakfast every goddamn day. If you even so as offered me cornflakes, I'd throw them in your fucking face. Okay? So I hate change too, but sometimes change is good, particularly when it makes you seem like you don't run a white supremacy podcast anymore. That's what Abby sent me. Very lovely message from Abby, but and I think this really explains the reason for the change. She's gone, this is amazing news. I love the change. I was once called out by my Indian boss for listening to your podcast. He totally thought it was a cult or something super racist. And someone commented on the show last week going like, oh, Luke, you missed on a great opportunity to call the podcast the White Power Hour on the rebrand. Hey, man, that actually is a cult. Then Rhys and I will be in here with pointy ass fucking hats on and it'll be a way different vibe. But yeah, so that is one of the reasons why I changed the podcast. The main reason is because I want to be a successful comedian. And if your name's in the title, that's usually better to sell tickets. And it's purely business related, guys. I'm a hustler. You got to respect the bag chasing abilities. So yeah, this Dead Inside guy, true to the name, just almost live tweeted his reaction to the podcast under my post. I don't even want to encourage this behavior because I'll be honest, I'm not like saying this is good. I fucking hated it. He's gone, wow, I suck at spelling. Wheat Bix is good. And then spelt Wheat Bix wrong, but I guess he's self-aware of it. Memoirs of a White Luke. We aren't in this together. No one is singing with you. Don't change if you don't like it. What the fuck? And then he's gone, changes suck. So at this point, I've gone, hey, dude, shut up. 21 plus comments is a great way to get blocked because you got to tell it like it is on social media. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you guys and be like, I love all ya. I don't. You know, I can't choose to listen to this podcast. Some of you, evidently, are dead inside. And then that person's gone, sorry, but you made me mad. And I went with the feeling's very mutual. So I owned that 14-year-old. Got him. Boom. We need like maybe a flame sound effect for when I flame people. Write that down. Yeah. I have a guy now to write stuff down. Write down epic burn sound effects. Anyway, so this guy was just didn't handle the change well, but that's all right. It's okay. I promise, guys, it'll be fine. I've got this. And thank you very much for coming back. If you hated the change, if you're listening to this, we appreciate everyone here. Pretty much except if you spam comment on my Instagram. If you're going to spam comment, do it on YouTube for algorithmic engagement. Instagram, complete waste of time. So yeah, people reacted to the change poorly. Some other predictions that I liked just before we move on were I enjoyed the one people thought my big bombshell was going to be that I didn't lose my pawpaw for once. That was from Joshua Bell. That would be a big bombshell. However, not the bombshell. Anyway, so yeah, we're back, guys. Feels good. Feels real good to be back. First actual bit of content on the agenda took place 2 weeks ago. And I've been waiting for the first episode of the Luke Kidgell Hour to... what's the correct word? Aggressively complain about it. It's... Rhys and I went out for beers. We were discussing the whole change. And then we had enough to drink. Yeah. You actually tapped out at the Luke and Lewis Christmas party. I did. And
you were very disappointed.
No, I was just shocked. And Keelan was saying the same thing. Rhys is the type of drunk person where, see, if you guys probably got a read on Rhys right now, you're probably thinking, oh yeah, I think I get his vibe. You get it. That's him drunk. He doesn't change at all. Like, he could have 10 schooners and be like, hey, hang on. Like, and I'd be like, what up?
I can just control my alcohol.
No, but you go to be like, I need to stop. I'm fucked. And I go, but you don't seem at all. And you go, but I am. Like you were like, I'm about to die. But your brain was like,
Yeah.
we good.
I'm just good at hiding it. Maybe.
You are.
Yeah.
I think it's because you're quiet anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
that's why I thought it'd be so funny, like if Rhys was just here, because I was like, how do you feel about maybe being on mic sometimes on the podcast? And you don't really want someone who jumps at the opportunity. He was like, I guess. And I was like, he's perfect. Get him on. Always get someone on who mildly hates it. So I've shoved him in the corner of this very small room. And anyway, so Rhys and I went out for beers. I then caught the train home. And I haven't been catching the train much at all in the last year. I think I've caught the train twice since the start of the pandemic. Since like March, or almost this time last year, because I went on the regional tour. Then I was touring and doing shows away all March, and then everything got locked down. So I've probably been on the train twice in the last year, and every single time I'm on the train from now on, I have a new rule. I am only on the train if I'm going to get intoxicated or if I am intoxicated. Otherwise, not catching the train. You know why? Because I'm an adult, and I don't have a job. The only real reasons to catch a train are catching a train to work, fair enough, and it's great, environmentally friendly. We love that here. Woohoo, Earth. And if you're drunk, or if you don't have your license. But if you're an adult, grow up and get your license. Rhys is odd. Rhys catches the train here, and he does have his license.
I just don't have a car.
But it's also to work. Yeah. But it's also that's still one of the two acceptable reasons.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
Clear.
I swear to God, if you were coming here for leisure and not to get pissed, I'd be furious. So anyway, I was catching the train home, pretty intoxicated. It was on a Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night.
We went our separate ways because we're on separate train lines, and Rhys dodged a bullet because this is what was in my carriage on the way home. Wasn't even that late. This is like 10 p.m.
10:30.
10 p.m. Not like 2 a.m., which is where you expect to hear this. I swear to God, this is the loudest I've ever heard a group of girls on a train. And you know how often when you film something on your phone and something that's really loud, like fireworks or V8s or something, the phone doesn't do justice to how loud the sound actually is in real life. This still sounds incredibly loud on the phone, yet the phone doesn't do it justice to how much my ears were bleeding. This is what I had to deal with for 40 minutes on the way home. Now, I'm not... This is the only... I'm not going to say that. I will. This is the only pro-gun law argument that I have. I'm against shooting people in general. But I swear to God, they wouldn't get away with that in America. If they were on the subway doing that shit, someone would have done something about it. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I'm not saying we should shoot 16-year-old girls. I'm saying we should think about it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's not a death threat. No, it is. Rhys is like, Jesus Christ, I don't know why I agreed to this job. We're going to get cancelled episode 1. Nah, guys, we shouldn't shoot him. But God, we have to do something. You know what we should have done? Shot a gun in the air. And then a warning shot. Yeah. And they would have been like, what the fuck? And I would have been like, that is how loud you are. That's been you singing, dude, it kept going, right? They started doing fucking single ladies.
All the single ladies, all the hands up, put your hands up. Up in the club, up, just woke up.
They put their fucking hands up. Oh my God.
I
I got a headache.
decided to
I did have a headache and it wasn't from the beers. Oh my God. They put their hands up. Nah. Okay, and I know I've been paying out 16-year-old girls a lot lately with the TikTok trashing, but there is an epidemic of teenage girls, and I know there's a lot of 16-year-old girls who listen to this podcast. I'm assuming, right? And I just want to say, it's not all of you, and I know this does not reflect the majority, but God, it reflects about 25% of you, and that's too much. I think we can all agree. You know about 1 in every 4 of your friends are that annoying if you're 16. I remember being a 16-year-old boy and being like, I mean, I was probably worse. We were probably like, probably, actually, I don't think I've ever been annoying on a train. No, I would have. We're quite loud, like when we talk and joke around. I do remember one time a junkie told us to shut up, and it very well could have been us, or it could have been the ice that he was on. So I'm not sure, but that's, I don't know, being loud on a train, that ain't it, guys. And the vibe on the carriage was like, what do we do? Because like they were like 15 or 16. I don't know.
How many other people in the carriage?
Oh, like 20.
Yeah.
Packed. I mean, not packed, but like enough people to be like, shut up. Like there was people coming on and then moving into the other carriages. There was people walking down and moving to the carriage. But there was a little part of me that was like, I wonder how long they're going to keep going for. I was like, I wonder if they'll lose energy. Because like that's so much energy. To just be like, put your hands up. And then all of them collectively go, woo! Like they're doing a Mexican wave. And I'm like, how into Beyonce can you get? I mean, I love Beyonce as much as the next person. It's Queen Bee, but I'm not putting my hands up, Anyway. But yeah, they did about 30 to 40 minutes of that. It was bad. And I sent that video to Rhys on the train and he's just like, suck shit. I got a real quiet trip home.
I was the only one in my carriage.
Oh,
when you said that.
God. And you know what? I'm an idiot because they were being really loud on the platform as well.
Oh, okay.
And I almost predicted it. But I was like, no, they won't be that bad. Like, I'm like, they're 16. They're old enough to be respectful in a train. Dude, crazy. So, yeah, none of that. And this almost brings us to our new segment. The new segment is called I Don't Know Who Needs to Hear This, But. And that was a great example of that segment. I could have used that in this segment, but I have too many other examples. So, I don't know who needs to hear this, but hey, if you're 16, don't scream on a train. Here's my first one, right? And I want you guys to email them in, lukekidgellpodcast@gmail.com. All right? I don't know who needs to hear this, guys, but put down the drone and spend time with your kids. Okay? And that's the first one we're doing. I was at Phillip Island a couple weekends ago with Meg. There's this bloke clearly having a midlife crisis, flying around what's probably like a $200 drone from JB Hi-Fi just on the beach. Fair enough. It was a nice night. Great place to fly a drone. It was a little invasive. I kind of felt like we were eating Chinese food on the beach at the back, on the grass. And I got the vibe that he was like filming us eating. Like he was like kept on flying the drone near us and then hovering like 15 meters in front of us. And then I thought it would be funny to just give the drone the finger because I knew the guy would have like a little camera on his phone or something. And I gave the drone the finger. And then Meg was like, what the fuck? We have to sit here for another 15 minutes. I'm not even close to done. And that was pretty funny. So then we had to sit in that awkwardness of I'd already given this guy's drone the finger because I'm a bit of an asshole. And but yeah, this guy, look, I don't want to disrespect him too much because he was probably having the time of his life. But he had like a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. I don't know how old kids are, but they were like probably toddlers swimming in the ocean unsupervised. He's clearly gone to his wife. Oh, don't worry, I'll take the kids down to the beach. And then he snuck the drone into the car. You should always never take your eyes. Isn't there a whole government campaign? Like, don't take your eyes off kids in the pool because they can drown in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy was like 5 minutes of his head just in the air, driving this drone around. It blew my mind. So yeah, I don't know who needs to hear that, but if you're going to take the drone out this weekend and you're having a midlife crisis, maybe just spend time with your kids. Meg and I started supervising the children, you know? Geez, that sounds creepy. Meg and I were eating Chinese food, watching some kids on the beach, but no one else was. You know, these kids were like in the water, you know, swimming, or like not swimming, they're just standing there splashing around. And I reckon the dad maybe looked over at him twice in 10 minutes. It was real. It was some solid parenting. So yeah, I don't know who needs to hear that, but I reckon I just saved a 3-year-old's life right there. And I got one more, and then the next week's we can do a few of yours. I got one more, guys. I don't know who needs to hear this, but having a car as your profile picture on Instagram needs to stop. Okay, it's more like an intervention. This segment really for just select groups in society, and it's not a bad thing. If you feel personally attacked by this segment at any point in the future, that's okay. It's actually the point of the segment. I would just say it's not a diss on you. It's a diss on your personality and the way you act, and that can be changed. You know, so I it's fine, and I'm not open to it as well because it's up. You know, I am open for something that I do being targeted in this segment with your guys' emails. You might be like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you can't just eat Wheat Bix every single day of your life and think that's healthy, you know, with heaps of sugar on it. And I'll be like, boom, ouch, that's me. So I'm not, what am I trying to say?
I have no idea.
Yeah, neither do I. Anyway, whatever. I'm not open to, no, fuck, what am I trying to say? I'm not, guys, I don't have a brain. And now I don't know who needs to hear this, but fucking think. All right. And that was me. I needed to hear that. But yeah, I'm sick of being messaged by cars on Instagram. I reckon 40 people maybe message me a week on Instagram. I don't know. I don't really count, but like maybe 40 or 50 DMs from humans. And then like about 10 to 15 from cars. And they're always, it's so odd. The cars are always between 15 and 25 years old. And they're always male, these cars. And they're always saying their bios like, oh, I like FIFA and I like cars. You know, these cars never seem to have much of a personality who message me. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you are one of those Instagram cars, you know, because it's so weird. Like you get message from someone and they're like, hey, mate, I listen to the show. And, you know, and it's just like, I didn't know that many Ford Mustangs. Well, they're not, Mustangs aren't Fords, are they? They are?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Ford, yeah. There was like one of like this real nice Mustang. And I was like, I didn't realize this many cars were listening to the podcast. Dude, there was like one of those Dodge Challengers was listening to this show last week. Messaged the podcast Instagram. Yeah, it was just like, hey, mate, big fan, looking forward to the rebrand. I was like, holy shit. So many cars listening to this show. So if you are a human, if you're one of those cars, that's fine. Obviously, that's you in your profile picture. Keep it. But if you are a human being and you're pretending to be a car on Instagram, maybe switch out that profile pic with a personality and go from there. Because we were talking about this with the guys from Luke and Lewis off air. I don't think it made it onto the show. But I don't know. Car guys, I get it if you're like, I don't want to shit on car guys because I think it's a cool hobby. I love when people like fix them up and they like, you know, are full into like, yeah, I get parts and all that shit. That's cool. But the strangest car guy to me is when you have that guy with like a lowered car, the big subwoofer, like the spoiler on the back, usually a Subaru, and the dude knows nothing about what's under the hood. That blows my mind. He's like, yeah, bro, I like cars. I'm like, no, you like the Fast and Furious. You like watching Vin Diesel pretend to drive cars, right? You like Vin Diesel's stunt double driving cars. That's what you really like. That is like, I don't know why it rubs me the wrong way. Whenever I meet a dude who's like, I'm like, what do you do, bro? And he's like, I like cars. I'm just like, oh. And then you have the next 10 minutes of conversation at a party with like a human doorknob of just like a brick. You might as well just be like speaking to a fucking door at that point. I've never met a guy who's like, I'm into cars, and then in the next 5 minutes, I might make you laugh. I've never met him, you know? Rhys is into bikes, but you just like riding them.
Yeah.
You're like, I just like riding motorbikes, and that's awesome. I'm not mad if you just like, I don't know, cars is a weird one because it's like, I personally don't give a shit about what car I drive. I'm like, you know, still rocking my 2004 Subaru Impreza. Dude, it gets me from A to B. And that's great. That's why I love cars, is because I don't have to walk. And I don't mind like the old car guys. You know, there's guys that they're like, yeah, man, I do this shit up. But that's cool when they do it up in their shed and there's a hobby and a talent there. It's so weird to me when people just like buy like, not even expensive cars, like $10,000 Nissan Pulsars and then just like race them down Sydney Road.
Do manies.
Do manies. Yeah. It's literally like that. It's like in Angry Boys where like we just like fucking go up and back. Those are what those guys are. But it's so funny that those guys are like also big fans of Chris Lilly. And Chris Lilly is just openly going, I fucking hate people like that. Because they probably watch it and go, oh, true, that's what I do. But like, that's not the joke. The joke is, that's what you do. I don't know. I feel like I've gone at people before in this podcast who drive manual, and people didn't like that. Oh, didn't like that at all. Like, look, you don't get it, man. You like feel the drive. Like, cool, dude. And then I'm pretty sure I said something pretty immature about you must love touching knob or stick, and they fucking hated that. Yeah, because there's one thing car guys hate more than talking shit about cars. It's being called gay, and they don't like that at all. And I'm not saying car guys are homophobic, but I'm saying that they're not. Rhys, there's no episode 2. We're getting cancelled. I've just used
First episode.
Yeah, it's 2021. I've said the word gay. Even in context, it was fine, but you can't say that word anymore, guys. Ah, fuck. Maybe I should come out now. And we're all good.
We'll drop another bombshell.
Yeah, guys, another bombshell. Oh, fuck. The battery's dead. Oh, the camera says battery exhausted. like it was just puffed. We're back. Sorry, our camera got super puffed out. And now we are filming on not even my high school camera from 10 years ago. We're now filming on a camcorder. Like, this is the most ghetto podcast setup of all time. It's because I'm waiting for my charger still. I think it's coming on Monday, so everything will be back to normal by next week. But I lost my charger at the Luke and Lewis Awards show. Also, I forget that not everyone listens to Luke and Lewis, and I said I was like, I lost it at the Loogies last week on the podcast, and there was people commenting like, "What the fuck is the Loogies? Do you mean the Logies? Why were you at the Logies?" Me and Carl Stefanovic are boys, but guys, this episode of the Luke Kidgell Hour, the first Luke Kidgell Hour, is sponsored potentially by you. That is right. Well, I'm not looking for a sponsor, although I wouldn't hate it, but the Patreon is how we pay for this. If you want to jump on my Patreon, you get the Luke and Meg podcast, and that means I can keep paying my robot workforce. And obviously, people have said in the comment section that he doesn't need to be paid because he's a robot.
That is not true.
Well, people have said that, and there's been rumors floating around, and I haven't taken on board their feedback yet, but God, it seems appealing.
Might have to get WorkSafe if that happens.
Yeah, great. But in order for Rhys to keep being paid and this podcast to keep going, unfortunately, podcasts are not free to make, but they are free to listen to. You get the Luke and Meg podcast clip. Oh, sorry, you get I was reading, I'm Ron Burgundy. I was reading the fucking whiteboard that we have, and it says podcast clip, and I went, I'm Ron Burgundy. You do get the Luke and Meg podcast, and here is a clip from the last one. Meg accidentally went to a rub and tug. Yes.
I may have accidentally ended up in a rub and tug.
Getting rubbed and tugged.
No, I didn't get tugged. I did get a very bad rub though. So,
but you're a female, so
I needed-
it's not called a rub and tug for you.
No, it would be
Like a petted and wetted.
No, it would still be a rub, but it would be.
You don't really get
nub.
tugged.
I don't know.
Rubbing a glug.
Ew. Ew, gross. Why is it glugging out? So I go into this place, and I was just gonna have like a look at it, just to see. You can kind of get a feel for what those places are gonna be like when you go in there. Like if it's dirty, then you fucking leave, right? So I walk in.
Usually, you can tell by the amount of erect men in the foyer.
Yeah. So.
There you go. If you want more of that, it gets pretty juicy. We talk about stuff that we'd never talk about on a public podcast. On there, we talk about fuck stuff. It gets way too personal, and the people on the Patreon already love it. So we'd love to get you on there. We're trying to do that really consistent this year, and that podcast is a heap of fun. And if you don't know Meg, we do a bunch of videos together on YouTube as well. She's my girlfriend. She's very funny. Also, just with Patreon real quick, this year I am going to be doing some Patreon meetups. The first one, if you want to get in my Discord, will be Sunday the 7th of February. We're debuting my Weet-Bix cricket kit, the one that I won in the cereal box competition. There was a little bit of chat in the Discord going, Luke, have you given it a run yet? Have you hit any sixes? Have you bashed any fucking balls over any fences? And I sadly have to say no, hasn't been used yet. So we're going to debut it with the people in the Discord. We're going to go to like a beach or a park area in Melbourne on Sunday the 7th of Feb. Area is not confirmed yet. Location isn't confirmed. But what is confirmed is a whole lot of Weet-Bix cricket, a few beers, and a great afternoon. So if that's something you're interested in, jump in the Discord tier. And by the way, I'm going to be changing the amounts of my Patreon benefits at the end of February. So you have 1 month to get on at the what will be a discounted rate of $3 or $6 a month, depending on the tier. That is going to go up to $5 and $10 because we're offering a lot more now. So yeah. And also, if you're already on the Patreon, don't worry. I think it shouldn't fuck you. If you're already on there, and if you get on there before the end of February, you should be able to keep the same benefits on the $6 tier or whatever you sign up for on. So it'll only affect the new people. So don't freak out if you're in the Patreon, all right? You don't have to pay an extra $4 a month. So yeah, this episode sponsored by you. Thank you for your support. Next on the agenda. And by the way, send your I don't know who needs to hear this to lukekidgellpodcast@gmail.com, and Rhys will be sorting through them during the week. You know, beep, boop, beep, boop. I don't know what you do, but like, yes, I'm assuming. Do you make noise? You're a pretty silent robot.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, you are. Rhys's friend tried to burn him during the week to me. All Rhys's mates try and give me dirt on him, like on Instagram. And he's like, "Oi, did you know Robot Rhys owns a Bazinga mouse pad?" Like from the Big Bang Theory. And I did know that already.
I've seen
Yeah,
it
it
to
was
you before.
part of the reason why I hired him, you know? Rhys is the whitest man alive, other than me. He's the second whitest man alive.
Very similar.
We're so similar. It's crazy. Who's your favorite band?
Blink 182.
Crazy. It's so crazy. We both like Blink 182 way too much. When we I drop Rhys off to the station and pick him up, we exclusively play Machine Gun Kelly to and from, and Rhys doesn't hate it. He loves it.
You dress similar.
We dress similar. He's quite literally wearing Bachelor Rose socks and Well Gym merch. You are essentially just a caricature of me.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm a caricature of you.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know yet.
I'm budget Rhys. But yeah. Rhys and I have been working together for over a year now.
Yeah, just
over a year.
Yeah.
So I feel like you were mentioned sometimes, maybe towards the end of last year, but I guess at the start, you're always just this behind the scenes guy, this mysterious editor that I had.
Yeah.
But now he's no longer mysterious. Now he's publicly known as a robot, a Blink-182 loving robot. He's like, I love fucking, oil in my sockets and all the small things. And that's just what you like. Guys, we need to talk about the constant levels of disrespect that I've been showing on the gram lately. Oh my God. People have been bringing it up to me. My friends have been like, what's up with these new levels of disrespect? And I'll give you an example. This was probably the best example I can think of. Hang on, I just got to bring it up. I was obviously down at the beach, and I was down at the beach on the day that everyone went back to work on that Monday. I think it was like Monday the 12th, or the date that most of the workforce in Australia was like, all right, time's up. Unless you're a teacher, you're pretty much going back to work. And I posted the most disrespectful shit on my Instagram story because, again, I don't really have a job anyway. So I was still at the beach chilling in the sun. Just got to find it on my story. What date was it? Oh, this one. It's a picture of a sunny beach and a pier. And I go, just wanted to remind everyone who went back to work today that my life is better than theirs. And not even just today either. It's probably heaps better in general. Anyway, suck shit. Now that's pretty disrespectful. I had a bunch of friends message me saying like they saw that on their lunch break of their first day going, fuck you. And all I've got to say about that is, what else is Instagram for? That it's the only purpose of Instagram for me is obviously building an audience, sure. But it's the main point of Instagram is showing that your life is better than others, or pretending even. I wasn't even having that much fun. Like I was just sitting at a beach. I'm sure it's better than being at work. Sure.
In the waves.
I wasn't a pleb, like, at the workplace, but I wasn't like even having that much fun. I just wanted to piss people off, and man, it worked. You know what else? I did this on purpose because, again, I'm a bit of a dick. I go to Meg. I was typing it out, and then I usually try and proofread it, particularly if you're going to say something arrogant like that. And I realized I was like, oh, I've used the wrong there, And then I go, and I just smile at Meg and just hit post because I was like, if there's one thing, because some people. The people who will be mad at me posting that will be also mad at a spelling mistake or a grammatical error. And man, it really fired some people up. And then I just like rubbed it in. The next story, I posted a picture of me eating cantaloupe, and everyone was like, it's rockmelon. You're eating rockmelon. And I knew I was going to get that. But guys, admit, if you had like a bunch of followers on Instagram from time to time, you'd also do the same. You'd rile up the bull. You'd rave. All I was doing was just waving the red sheet in front of all my followers, going, "Come on, run at me. Go on." You just got to poke the bear sometimes, and it's very funny when the bear bites back. So many people. What do you call cantaloupe or rockmelon? Do you call it rockmelon?
Yeah.
I call it. So that's the thing. I call it cantaloupe, but I know a bunch of people call it rockmelon because I've had this argument with my friends before. I think they're correct. I think cantaloupe is the American way to say it. But I thought rockmelon was the green one.
Maybe
like the green cantaloupe?
Yeah.
And it's shit?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were just like, got mad at me because I was just eating. Like, I don't give a fuck what you call it. It tastes like shit. A lot of people were just angry at me eating fruit, that's how angry people are on Instagram. I think people at this point go out of their way. I mean, obviously I go out of my way to provoke people, but people also go out of their way to nitpick as well, which is kind of why I provoke people. It's very funny. But yeah, if you are the type of person to correct someone about their grammatical errors on Instagram, you absolutely need to do better shit with your life, for sure. But anyway, guys, and I will not stop, by the way. I will keep pretending my life is better than yours because that's what the app's for. And I wouldn't want to... I'm pretty sure it's against their community guidelines to be humble on Instagram. I think you actually have to rub poo in the face of your followers because that's all the influencers do. Any like influencer that I follow is at a beach twice a week when I'm not. And they're just like, out here living. And it's like, all right, well... I got some followers. Why don't I just whip my dick out once in a while and Turkey slapped 71,000 people emotionally.
many people
It sounds a
unfollow
bit
you?
creepy when I say it like that, doesn't it?
Do many people unfollow you from that?
I don't know from that, but if lots of people got angry and like not even like people that I know, like people in my Discord were like, fuck you. Like people who pay me money were like, I fucking hate you. People who are usually a fan of me were like really against it.
Yeah.
But that's the problem as well. When you like that only fuels the fire. What you don't realize, guys, is I've been in this game for maybe 4 or 5 years now. I've read death threats about myself. I've read horrible things people have written about me. Someone saying, "Oh, mate, you used the wrong there." I don't know. It doesn't cut me too deep. It may have back in the day, but if anything now, it fuels me to use the wrong your. You know, occasionally, like sometimes I will admit it's completely accidental and I'm just an idiot and I use the wrong. I often say his instead of he's. I'm a moron. I'm not saying I'm not. And usually it's warranted. But there's a couple of times where I will write out the wrong one and then go, that's wrong. And then go, I don't care. It's Instagram. And I go, post. And the same people that like correct me are like, hey, mate, use the wrong there. They're typing TikTok comments like with the letter U when they write you. And it's like, I didn't know kids were still doing that. Did I already rant about this in the podcast already?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, was I just ranting to you about it?
Maybe.
I feel like I told you one day. It was really pissed me off. One thing that's been plaguing TikTok, and I can't believe I talk about this app because you know why? Because I only spend about 10 minutes a day on it, and it's the worst 10 minutes of every day.
This has become like a weekly thing. Of
It
you
is.
just
It's
ranting
like we
about
should
it.
have just a TikTok bashing segment. We should make an opener. Like Luke shits on 14-year-olds. Oh, guys, no one clip that. Yeah, I think, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I think I maybe have talked about this, but I'll say it again. Fuck them. The reason why people used to write, so say if you're writing the word you and you're trying to be short about it, you just write the letter U. Or if you're writing what, people used to write W-A-T. And now the reason why people did that was because you used to have to pay per character for text messages. Like when we were really early teens, I think my first phone was like that.
Yeah.
Where it was like it was like a tweet. You had like 150 characters and then otherwise it would go on to then be double the cost if you went over that. So people would type like sparingly, using their letters sparingly. There's no reason to do that anymore. It's unlimited. It's free. And even on a TikTok comment, you can type in English. Really? Like, you're not even really saving that much time by just writing Y-O-U. Like, it's not that hard to just be like, oh, I'm just going to type like a person with a brain, you know? But so that's always confused me about like current early teenagers. They write in incomplete sentences on purpose. Like, they'll be like, or they'll just like replace a Z.
Yeah, it seems to be getting worse.
Like was.
Yeah.
I saw was written the other day on TikTok, W-A-Z. It's like, you haven't even saved time.
Yeah.
You're just a dickhead. You just can't spell.
It seems to be getting worse. Like each generation, it gets worse.
I know. And we sound like fucking boomers right now going, like the kids are just like, they don't get it. Back in our day, we used to write coolies with a K on the fucking MSN. But I don't know. That just, it doesn't even piss me off. It just makes me think they're dumb. But I guess they don't care what I think because I'm a boomer to them.
Yeah.
And I am. I'm complaining about it on a fucking podcast. That's pathetic. I'm actually worse than them by far. Like, they're wasting time doing it. I've wasted about 5 minutes talking about it. Now, this is the Luke Kidgell Hour. How much time are we on?
We have got 16 minutes left.
Fuck, it's a long time. I feel like Tracy Grimshaw.
Yeah.
I'm just doing 60 minutes and
yeah.
and it's a bit shit towards
Yeah.
the end. We should just start talking about supermarket prices. The war between Coles and Woolies. I'm a Woolies man. Fuck Coles, dude. You know what else is going down? Their stock price, man, after this podcast. Woolies all the way. That splits a room. Are you a Woolies guy?
Probably Coles.
Get the fuck out.
I've been fired.
Yeah, dude, that chicken Kiev sucks. It's the worst chicken Kiev. I'd rather Aldi chicken Kiev. I don't even think they even serve chicken Kiev. Man, because the Woolies bakery is to die for. Like, I will go to Coles. Like, if I'm in a supermarket and I need to get like milk and bread, or I'll just get a few things, and I see a Coles, I'm not going like, oh, I'm going to look up where the nearest Woolies is. I'm not that brand loyal, but there is a Coles and a Woolies within 100 meters of each other in Eltham, our local shops. I will never go to Coles. I'm not strolling down there. It's in the underground dungeon. Yeah. It's a dirty Coles. But I feel like I should like Aldi more. Aldi seems like you know what? Aldi supermarkets are laid out like my brain.
Have you seen their alcohol range?
Isn't it just like rip-off versions of like there's like rip-off cruises
yeah.
and rip-off German beer and rip-off draft and rip-off Furphy.
Yeah,
it's like
much,
Murphy.
Yeah.
It's like Blurphy. Get have a Blurphy. There's actually a beer called Frothy.
Frothy, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually not a rip-off beer. That's just bad beer. That actually tastes like urine. But yeah, Aldi supermarkets are laid out like the way my brain thinks. Because like I'll go in there with a plan, and then I'll be like, "Oh, a kayak," you know, like that's what my brain does. And whoever the fuck laid out their store, I almost get it. Like you'll be like, "Oh, and I need cheese, and I need dairy, and all the dairy's in the same spot," and you're like, "Oh, new desk chair." You're like, maybe I need a desk chair, and it's like, oh, and they have their special buys.
Special, yeah.
Yeah, like fucking vacuum cleaners. You get like a Roomba for like $200.
Yeah.
Cleans your whole house. It's great. Man, Lewis got one of those what are they called, Roombas? The what are they called? The remote, the circle, like Android.
yeah.
You'd know if you've related to them. You're the robot vacuum cleaners. I should just get you to suck my floor. Yeah, Lewis got one of those circular vacuum cleaners, and Keelan, I'm just like reflecting on this now. The saddest 15 minutes of my life. We had a lunch break once where Keelan and I sat there in silence. Or like we were talking just about the vacuum. We were pretty much sitting there in silence, just watching this vacuum clean their house, and it was like a sport. It was the most entertaining shit of all time. It would like get stuck on the carpet, and we'd be like, oh, and then it would go, and then shoot off, and we'd be like, hey! It was great.
Speaking of sports, we've got 13 minutes left. You have invented a new sport.
Yeah, I did. Meg and I invented a new sport. I like that you were like, enough of the Roomba stuff. That was great producing. You're like, you're losing them. You're losing them with the Roomba stuff. We peaked at Suck the Floor. Move off it. Yeah, Meg and I started a new game. We've been frequenting this one pub in the city, which is going to be my comedy festival venue, called Kicks, right? It's near Melbourne Central, and there's a balcony, and that's where Rhys and I went out for beers. Meg and I went there. I've been there 3 times. At this point, the bar staff are like, do you live here? Like, and it's real weird because it's like we're the only white people ever there.
Yeah.
It's almost exclusively Asians that go to this bar, but they're Asians that like love to drink. Man, but everyone says Australia has a fuck drinking culture.
Yeah.
Because of how many Asians are here.
Yeah.
Like, it's true because of how many Chinese people live here. They drink like fucking champions.
Yeah,
they've all got like, it's so weird. They're like 5'4" and they could drink me under the table.
Yeah.
Without even questioning it. They order these big beer towers. It's great. They're my people, to be honest. They like fucking arcade machines and drinking. And that's what this bar has. Arcade machines and drinking.
Table,
and a pool table. We've never used it though. We should. Anyway, so they have this balcony. The funnest thing to do, right, is it overlooks a street which has a public toilet on the street. And it's one of those silver box public toilets. I'm not sure if they have them interstate. I don't really like think about that stuff when I tour. I'm not like, oh, what's their public toilet setup like? But we have them all around Melbourne, and they're electronic robot toilets that have a 10-minute timer on them as a safety reason for like, so people can't go in there and shoot up or hide from the cops or get stuck in there. So I've been in one of those toilets before. When you click the button to close the door, it goes closing door, and then it goes and it's like, you have 10 minutes remaining. 9. And then like it'll give you like updates where it's like 5 minutes remaining when you're taking a shit or whatever. Because there used to be one near Albert Park. I've never done one in the city. One time I've taken shits before in Albert Park before running events. All right, because I'm not going to shit myself in a state championship. Right, I'm not an animal. But yeah, I've been in these toilets before, and there's always like a real race to get out in time. Not that like I think that I would need 10 minutes to do what I need to do in there, but the added pressure of only having 10 minutes. Because like if someone was like, mate, take all the time you need in there, go take a shit, we'll see you soon. It'd probably take like 7 minutes. But when there's a clock on you, for some reason it's so stressful. You're like pooing, like it's not coming out. It's not coming out. Like, and then, so what we were doing, we were up in the bar on the rooftop overlooking this public toilet, which I knew was one of the 10-minute ones. We were then timing people. I had my little watch on here, right? I was going, and then someone would walk in and I'd be like, just start the timer. And boy, oh boy, was it fun. There's a lot of elements to the game. There's commentating it like it's a real sport, because it is. There is timing. Obviously, there's predicting if people are shitting or pissing, because like you can kind of tell by people's energy when they go in. Like if people are like quickly, and if people really run in there, they're usually pissing because they're usually busting. Yeah. But I noticed everyone who was shitting in there does this when they walk in. They go, they kind of look around to be like, I'm about to shit.
Or they could be doing something else.
True, they probably it's in the city. Yeah, they're probably doing drugs, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But one guy went in there, right? I went to the toilet. I came back and I go, oh, is he still in there? And Meg's like, yeah, he hasn't moved. And it's been like 8 minutes. And this is the longest one we've had so far. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. The door's going to open on someone. This is going to be the best shit ever. We're going to see some guy with his pants down in the middle of the street. And this is going to be great. It gets to 9 minutes. And Meg and I are like, fuck. The door's not opening. And you can tell when the door's about to open because the door goes, there's a flash, there's a light on the door that's like 1, 2, 3, and then the door will slowly slide open. And I was like, oh my God, there's been no flashes, like this guy. And then it gets to 9:30 and we're like, oh my God, we're going to see this guy's nuts. This is crazy. This guy's, because I know I've been in this toilet before. It would be like 30 seconds remaining. Like it doesn't screw you over. It's not like the door just like, goes, ha here's you with your pants down to strangers. The door doesn't catch you off guard. And then it gets to 9:45. The door still hasn't opened. And we're like, what the, oh my God, dude, you got 15 seconds. Get the fuck out of there. Then at like 9:50, we see the 3 flashes. It opens. The dude looks visibly flustered. He's just doing up his belt. Like you can tell he was mid shit when it was like 1 minute remaining. And he's wiped. You can tell he's wiped and flushed and put his pants up in 50 seconds. And it was a credit to the man. And by the way, no women went in there the whole time. It was all dudes. We were sat there for 2 hours playing this game. Not one woman wanted to participate in a public toilet situation. I understand why. Yeah. There was graffiti in the toilet. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were in there doing narcotics, and fair enough. I mean, what else? That's, yeah. I mean, not fair enough. It's bad. Tisk. A bit weird, though. It was like, Meg and I were there on like a Thursday night. It was like 6 p.m. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't have an addiction, but like, that seems excessive to me.
That night we were there was like a line out the front of that toilet.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's in the middle of a road as well. It's like in the middle of a crosswalk. So the best part was watching people cross the road and then going like, oh, am I going to pee? And you watch them pee. And then like there was one guy like where his girlfriend just ditched him. Like he went into the toilet and she just kept walking. And she thought about waiting for him. Was like, nah, fuck it. She just walked off. And the main clientele using the public toilet were just Uber Eats drivers parking there.
Oh, yeah, behind it.
Yeah. Their mopeds or whatever they drive. What are we up to?
We have got 6 minutes.
6 minutes, good, because I got one more story. Yep. Guys, there was a 12-year-old at a gig that I did this week. So I'm back doing stand-up. It's been heaps of fun. And by the way, tickets are going to be on sale in like 2 weeks for Melbourne Comedy Festival. There's some regional Victoria shows we've slotted in. And also, I think Adelaide. So get ready for that. Jump on the mailing list and you'll be the first to get them. And please jump in first because these rooms are like, you can only do it at 50% capacity. And last year I sold like half the tickets in a week. So therefore they may sell out. I don't know. Each room is different, but I wouldn't risk it because I'm doing very small rooms because you can't get a big room this year because of COVID. But anyway, so that's going to be on sale soon. So I'm back doing gigs around town. And I was doing this gig called Laughs on Lygon. Great room. Usually when I do bars and pubs and comedy clubs, whatever, it's like over 18. It's just the general rule. It's just like it's at a pub. There was a 12-year-old in the front row. Like actually 12, grade 6. Was wild. And I was with his mum and it was right at the front. He was a meter away from me and it was so off-putting. I don't know why. I was just like, because I was trying this new bit where the bit involves me to say the word fuck a lot. Like it's part of the joke is like using the word fuck in a certain context. And the mum, ironically, didn't give a fuck. I mean, fair enough. That kid would have learned, I wouldn't have got anything. When I was 12, like, when was the first time you went to comedy?
Probably 20.
Oh, so you were like an adult.
No, 2015.
So you were like 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I was like 18 when I went to comedy. And I'm glad because maybe if I was 16 or 17, I would get it, right? But this kid, I was just like, there was comedians talking about like, you know, doing drugs and like fucking and all this stuff. And it was just throwing every comic off in the night because you'd be like, some guy was like halfway through his coke bit, you know, and then he's like, yeah, anyway, we'll like, and then he just looks at this kid as he's like miming himself snorting a line. And the guy was like, nah, this feels fucking wrong, eh? Like, but the mum was like, keep going. I'm just like, it's almost like you're training him. She's like, oh, and here's some shit you should never do with your life. Because like, also open mic comedians are not good role models. Like if I had a 12-year-old, I just wouldn't put him in that environment, not even because of what we say on stage. Like you're like getting like all open mic comedy is really, and I don't want to trash a bunch of comedians, but like at the open mic level, it's essentially just like a congregation of people that are on like everything else in life has failed for them. So, and then someone's going, you should try doing comedy. Now, because there's a lot of like 40-year-old people who get into it. And I always wonder, like, good on them for taking the plunge, trying to do something different. But often it feels like an excuse so they can come to their AA meeting and be like, no, I was at the bar because of comedy. Like, it's almost like they're in their head, they justify like being at a bar on a Wednesday by going, yeah, but I did a tight 5, you know? So all I'm saying is I wouldn't bring a 12-year-old into that environment. And the best thing that happened was I was doing this joke about religion. I just referenced this, I guess, something that everyone understands about religion, common knowledge. And the crowd laughs, and then the mum goes into the kid's like ear. She just goes, and I see her whispering. I go, oh, did you just explain that because it's a joke about alcohol and spirits. And I go, oh, did you just explain that alcohol is like that Jim Beam is a spirit? And she goes, no, I just explained religion. In 2 seconds, she explained like thousands of years of history and the concept of religion in this amount of time. And the kid was like, oh. What did she say? Was she like, oh, there was just like a book and shit. It's a whole thing. Like, what did she say? Oh, it started a bunch of wars. Like, how the fuck do you explain religion to a 12-year-old in 2.5 seconds? I don't know what she says, but maybe this mum, I was judging her for bringing her kid there. Maybe she's a fucking genius. Maybe she's got such a, like, maybe there's a word that I don't have in my vocabulary that just immaculately describes the quite extensive concept of religion. There's a subject at school.
Yeah, what do you
at
know
some
by
schools.
12? What religion is?
Yeah, it was just this joke about like I just say the Father, the Son, and or like it's a joke basing on like the spirit. Like and the joke is like I'm talking about alcohol and obviously there's spirits in church or whatever. Like that it's like a play on word. There's a play on the word spirit is essentially the joke. So I thought, oh, maybe she was like, oh, Jim Beam is a spirit. Because I thought he'd know that the religious reason. Maybe the kid, because he's 12, doesn't know. I didn't know much about alcohol when I was 12. I don't think I would have known what Jim Beam was. I would have been like, is that a beer? I don't know. But yeah, it was amazing. It just brought the house down. Just the concept. Are you about to stop me?
We got 30 seconds.
Oh my
left.
God. So the rule is that Rhys has to stop me exactly on an hour because it's the Luke Kidgell Hour. And we don't want to do any more or any less. And I can't have one more thing to say.
You got
Anyway, it was really fucked, guys. Please share the podcast around to a friend. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Send in your I don't know who needs to hear this stories or whatever to the podcast email. Are we stopping?
3 seconds.
Oh my God. See you guys. Thanks for listening.
Somewhere